Attention. Welcome to the Different Spectrums podcast. We dive into the wild world of mental health discussions. Get ready for profound talks, a sprinkle of humor and sarcasm, and a touch of colorful language. Just a quick heads up, our show reflects our individual opinions, which may not align with the standpoint of the podcast, our featured guests, or any related corporate entities. Our mission? To illuminate through laughter and satire because everyone needs a good chuckle. Chill out and don't stress over the small stuff. Legal troubles? No, thank you. Cancel culture? Please spare us. We'd rather keep this space lawsuit free. So buckle up, have a good time, and join us as we navigate the vibrant realm of mental health on the Different Spectrums podcast. Today's episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. BetterHelp connects you with a licensed therapist who is trained to listen and give you helpful, unbiased advice. By using our link, you can get 10% off your first month of therapy. So, Naz, as a therapist on BetterHelp, what has your experience been like?
I've been doing it since January of 2021, and it's been really fun and exciting. I've been able to reach clients all over the United States and the world. I've had good relationships. I've had folks that I've had for a couple months and a good handful where I've had for almost 2 years now. So it's magnificent. I've enjoyed my time and my clients. I love them.
Awesome. You can do it all from your phone or computer via phone call, video chat, or messaging, however you feel the most comfortable. Let BetterHelp connect you to a therapist who can support you, all from the comfort of your own home. Visit betterhelp.com/DSP or choose Different Spectrums podcast during sign up and enjoy a special discount on your first month. Hey everybody, we back again.
Hey, we're back. We're live.
I'm Spencer, and of course that's our licensed clinical therapist, Nas.
Dr. Nas. Pump, pump.
Pump.
Pump. Yeah.
Remember, don't take us too seriously.
Or do. That's completely up to you.
There you go. Also, don't forget to run up those likes for us. We'd really appreciate it. Before we get into it, hey, go check out Oh No Roller. All right. The best kind of roller you can get. It's a nice fidget toy that you can use. Very nice materials. It's very fun to use. Yep, just like that. Just like that. There you go. You'd think it was the same thing. It's not. They come in different materials. I have the aluminum one. It's very relaxing. It's nice, cool to the touch if I just leave it alone for a little bit. Very nice. Very
Yeah.
nice. So get some Oh No rollers going. You can get 10% off if you use the code DSP or DSP10. Just go to the link down below. You can get it. So check them
Mine's
out. Oh,
mine's
sorry.
made out of silicone.
Is it?
Yeah.
You sure?
It's a thick one. I'm done.
Thank you. Also, go check out BetterHelp. You can get 10% off your first month of therapy if you use the link betterhelp.com/DSP. Just go down below in the link once again, and you can use it. Use it. Use it.
Yes.
So go for it. All right. So today we are talking about The Sopranos. Yeah. The Gabago.
Gabagoo.
The Gabago. Once I was out, they pulled me back in.
What's the matter with you?
Italian accents are coming out today. So today we're mainly talking about therapy, but also men in therapy. What does that mean? Um, and how does that look like for men to talk about mental health? It's a lot different than, how it's portrayed on the internet. Exactly.
Yeah, the
So
internet makes it look like all men are just so men love the therapy and so emotionally attuned. It's like, no, in the real world, we're like, bleh.
yeah, well, like,
I'll die in my shame.
yep, I don't need it. I'm good. Thank
I
you.
don't need,
Thank you.
I'm gonna suffer in silence, but not actually silence because I'm gonna drink myself to death and probably beat other people. Men. Be man.
All right. So, oh, that's what we're going to be getting into today. Nah, is there anything before we get into the show?
So this is why I get my personal time in the pot. Personal time. Story time.
Yep. You never have any other time to talk at all.
Never, I never really get to talk. I never
No.
get to be me.
No.
Yeah,
No.
no.
You're just quiet person in the
The
back.
government getting in the way. White people. It's a thing.
White people.
White people. So I was at work, and we were going on this lunch thing, right? A bunch of coworkers going to lunch. I offered to drive some people to the place in my car, but then I was like, "Yeah, I got some room for people in my car." And I was like, you better pray though, because you might not come back, suggesting that either they'll be kidnapped, murdered, right? Skinned alive, blah, blah, blah. Kept as a pet. They wouldn't be hurt, but they would be there for me.
All right, we got it.
Okay. So we go out to dinner or lunch or whatever. It's awesome, right? All of us chatting. It's funny. Somehow during it, I was talking about this one of these fellows is international Asian dude, right? And, said, "Are we friends now?" I said, "No, man, blood in, blood out." He said, "What's that mean?" So I Googled blood in, blood out, and he read it. And then we talked about murder. The whole table just goes silent, just stares at me, telling this guy.
As it should.
As it should. Fast forward, we go to this pastry shop afterwards. A couple people come in my car to drive back to work. I'm fat right now. I'm walking. It's hot. I'm tired. I'm bloated. I just got done eating a big ass brisket and now pastries. We just walked like 6-7 blocks. I almost had a heart attack. I'm sweating fucking sugar at this moment. We get in the car. I type in my phone the directions. We just bloop, hit a button. And so we're driving. I got a woman in my car, an international dude in the back of the car, right? We're driving.
Yep.
About 5 minutes go by. She goes, "Hey, yes, baby." She goes, "Hey, where the fuck are we going?" I was like, "What you mean?" She's like, "We ain't nowhere near school." I was like, "Oh shit, we going back to my house." It's the middle of the workday.
Yeah. This is what we call human centipede.
I said, girl, you going back home to daddy.
You're going to be the middle one.
I said, use it for dinner. She said, "We're going to have dinner at your house." I said, "No, you two is for dinner." I said, "Dad, I brought you home some gifts."
A white one and a foreign one.
Oh, I almost said some stuff.
Yeah, I bet you did.
I almost did. We're rolling in the car. Rolling. She's like, "What the fuck?" The dude in the back starts screaming murder. "He's going to murder us." It's like, calm down, motherfuckers. Calm down.
Remember, you're in Indiana.
I know.
Police officers are waiting for you.
It was hilarious. So, I'm like, I'm sorry. They're like, "That's why no one likes to hang out with you. You pervert."
Oh my God. That was probably the truest thing they ever could say.
It was very true. So we get back to the school, and then people are like, "What took y'all so long?" And she's like, "He tried to take us home with him." And I said in the group chat, I said, "Even when I try not to be a creep, it just comes out of me."
Sure does. It sure does.
Therapist Nas, pump.
Yeah.
So
that's a doctor right there.
Yep. I just thought everyone should know how awkward that was. In my fairness, I did not mean any malicious. No, but don't do harm on this podcast. No murder, no stabbing.
No, we just joke around with it.
Yeah,
I'm just holding a knife.
On my cell phone, it just says "go home." So right? You get done eating, you're fat as shit. You go home. You don't go back to work.
It's the middle of the day.
Middle of the fucking day, dude. It's like 1 o'clock.
You're like, yep. Yeah, it's time to go.
It's time to. I ain't going back to work. Fuck this shit. Oh, yeah. I had to go back see a student. Son of a bitch. Ruined my high.
You got some of the itis?
Yeah, I did. It was bad. That's the shit.
How the itis turns you into a kidnapper. It's really good.
It does. Pervert.
Are you talking to yourself?
Yes.
Okay.
All right. Let's get to the show. Whoop, whoop.
Whoop, whoop.
Sorry I'm late, the alarm was. What the fuck is wrong with you? Didn't Paulie tell you I ain't been feeling good?
You know what? I wet my ass with your feelings.
Thanks a lot.
Drive the fucking car. We're under a microscope and I gotta hear on the street you shot some fucking civilian in the foot because he made you wait for buns?
Fucking Paulie.
Don't blame fucking Paulie. Occasion comes to me and says Nutley PD's got a description and I'm making the car. Why don't you just leave a fucking urine sample next time?
If I could have done it...
Oh, shut up! That fucking Georgie comes into the club, he's got vomit all over his shirt. I ask him, what the fuck? He says you're digging up somebody you clipped 3 months ago.
I was worried...
Shut up! People do that shit, they want to get caught.
Oh, I want to get caught.
Yeah, you want to get caught. I've seen it before. That's fucking cowboyitis. You want to be a big bad guy, Christopher?
I was worried that I didn't do it.
Shut up!
Can I try and explain here? Can I try and explain here? I don't know, Tony. It's like just the fucking regularness of life is too fucking hard for me or something. I don't know.
Look at you. I bet you're sleeping all the time, right?
It's the only thing I still enjoy. You know what I think? Maybe I have cancer. Remember how Jackie got?
Cancer.
Something fucking horrible is going on inside my body. There's a physical change or something.
Does this word cancer pop into your mind a lot? A little bit? What?
Huh?
Well, I'm just thinking maybe you're depressed.
Me? I'm no fucking mental midget. Watch the
What?
filter.
Oh, fuck. Maybe you got a serotonin problem, or whatever the fuck they call it, you know?
You know about that shit?
Saw it last night on a program.
What, take fucking Prozac? Not this skinny guinea.
Let me ask you a question. You ever think about, you know...
Fuck no.
Good. Imagine those fucking losers blowing their skulls all over the bathroom.
It's fucking pathetic.
I told my family I got broadsided, but I passed out behind the wheel. See, my mother and me, we had a falling out. And since then, things have been good. Clean break.
What kind of falling out?
One of those unfortunate situations. A lot of screaming, profanity. Anyway, things were good. And then my sister came back. I mean, it's good to see her, I guess.
Cues from childhood kick in. Older sister. That should be obvious enough.
Yeah, but those feelings are starting to bleed into my business.
And what sort of business are you in?
Commercial and non-processable waste.
Mr. Spears, I watch the news like everyone else. I know who you are, and I saw analyze this. I don't need the ramifications that could arise from treating someone like yourself.
Analyze this?
Yeah.
Come on, it's a fucking comedy.
I'm not taking new patients right now.
No, I'm sorry. My condolences, nothing. Actually, that's good. It's a relief. You're not saying nothing. You want to know the truth. You know, everybody else all bullshit. All right, here's the thing. I'm glad she's dead. Not just glad, I wished she'd die. Wished. Got this court case coming up. She might have testified against me, so when I heard she was dead, relief flooded into my veins.
How do you feel about the fact that your own mother would have testified against you?
Oh, come on. Will you listen to yourself? I mean, is that right? Wishing her dead? Is that being a good son?
A good son?
Yeah, a good son. I mean, bad sons,
Bad sons what?
they should fucking die. That's a fucking miserable, disgusting thing to be, a bad son. I mean, your kid up at Bard. He better be a good son, right? You know what, you're right. Why the fuck should I be a good son to that fucking demented old bat, that fucking selfish, miserable cunt? She ruined my father's life. Oh, yeah.
But he wasn't her son. What did she do to you?
Come on, that's a matter of public record in here. We both know.
You don't like to say it, do you?
Who knows if she even knew what she was doing?
You're letting her off.
Uncle denies it, you know, that she took part.
Your uncle loves you.
I never said he didn't.
Grown children often secretly wish for an aged parent to die. And it's not necessary for the parent to be a witness for the prosecution. It's a taboo thought, but common. Particularly if the parent has lost all capacity for joy at being alive.
So we're probably done here, right? She's dead.
Sadness, you know. So much love for her, such complete and pure emotion. I felt unworthy to even be in his presence. I was so moved by him. And then I look at Ralphie.
You saw in this man the things that you want in your life. Truth, love.
Yes. Somehow I have to find a way to move away from the darkness and toward the light.
What does this man do?
He works with my brother, but he's not like the others.
Janice?
Now, Sandy, he's different, believe me.
Okay. But back to Ralph. You've got to sit him down and level with him. Speak the truth, Jan, but with the compassion and respect that you're famous for. And say goodbye, for his sake, as well as yours.
You're right. It's not his fault.
Broke a woman's heart. Told her I couldn't see her no more. Sad, but there's no getting around it.
Who is she?
She takes care of my uncle. Runs an elder care agency. She took care of my mother, too.
Your former girlfriend's cousin?
That one, yeah.
Is she your current Gumar?
No, it was a brief fling kind of thing. You know, but after a while, I felt like I had to cut off the leg. Not leg, affair. Did I say leg?
Why did you cut it off?
Jesus, I am married.
What happened?
I bought her this diamond pin that I send to every woman when I'm easing out the door. I'm such a fucking prick. You know what? This is all bullshit. It was she who gave me my walking papers. You believe that?
What I meant was
You know why she didn't want to see me anymore? She said that I was high maintenance. And this is after all the time, and all the money, and all the fucking Prozac, and all the fucking cocksucking motherfucking dream interpretations. And she said she didn't want to prop me up. And this from a broad that walks around on crutches half the time. Nice, huh?
Do you agree with her characterization of you?
I'm a miserable prick. I've said it since day one.
And you're no longer interested in changing, in finding a way out.
No, I guess not. I said this last time. You just didn't want to hear it.
You pay me for my honest opinion. You should be in therapy.
All this fucking self-knowledge. What the fuck has it gotten me? Okay, maybe it got me some shit in the beginning. Some leadership strategies. All we do now is we sit around half the time shooting the breeze about philosophy, the Italians, my Uncle Eckley.
I try to keep the focus on the work.
So when it goes off, it's my fault. Okay, fine, I accept that. You know what she says? This broad. She's from Russia. Dirt poor. She had some kind of osokama disease in her leg when she was 9. She says that nowhere else in the world do people expect to be happy, except for here in this country. And still we're not. And we got everything. And when we're not, what do? We go to shrinks. For what, $6, $7 a minute?
There's some truth to what she says. But should that be a source of shame? That when the desperate struggle for food and shelter is finally behind us, we can turn our attention to other sources of pain and truth?
Pain and truth. Come on. I'm a fat fucking crook from New Jersey.
Anthony, now that the panic attacks and the baseline depression have been dealt with, the real work can begin.
See, I knew you'd say something like that.
Because it's true. When we're not constantly having to put out fires, we can really delve into who you are and what you're really after in your very brief time on this earth.
I'm sorry. I don't want to do this anymore. And you can say that I'm running away, but I've been here longer than I ever thought I'd stay. Longer than anybody ever thought I'd stay. And you know what? I get no appreciation for it.
You've shown a lot of courage. I commend you on that.
Well, thank you for the commendation, and adios. Look, no fault, no foul. I appreciate everything you've done for me.
Come to your next appointment. One more time.
You'll cover my $300 a week in no time with some other mortadella. All right, I shouldn't have said that. Look, you saved my life in the beginning. And for all the times I came on like an asshole, I'm very sorry.
You've got my number if you change your mind. And if you begin to feel any of the old feelings, you need to call me.
So what's customary? I mean, you shake hands. Well, how about a diamond pin? Okay, well,
Goodbye.
You've reached Dr. Elliot Kupferberg. Please leave a message at the sound of the beep. If this is an emergency, you can reach me at 973-555-7089.
Well, guess who's no longer a patient of mine?
so how you feeling? Heard you had a little problem.
What problem?
All right. But your doctor said something different.
Who, Kennedy?
Kennedy's your cancer doctor.
I knew that. You said doctor.
The white-tailed prairie dog lives at higher elevations, hibernating throughout the winter.
Just take your medicine, Uncle Joe. Make you feel better. Help with your memory.
Believe me, there's plenty I'd like to forget.
Yeah, you and me both.
Squat and portly,
Feach was here.
Oh, yeah, he came to pay his respects. Hey, what's this I hear? You ruled against Feach? He's an important man.
Why's he bitching to you about shit?
I'm still the boss of this family, despite any arrangements.
Yellow in color. They often have dark
These
eyes.
prairie dogs, they'll sleep during the day.
Oh, yeah? Look, the doctor said you may not have known what you were saying.
What are you talking about?
The varsity shit. So what else did Feach have to say?
Getting a new top on his convertible.
All right, let's assume that you didn't know what you were saying, that you forget what you say shit over and over.
Yeah?
Why's it gotta be something mean? Why can't you repeat something good?
There's the coyote.
I mean, don't you love me?
Hey everyone, have you been looking for something to help you when you feel extra fidgety? How about when you have a sensory overload? Well, I'm here to introduce you to the Oh No Fidget Roller. It helps me regulate and also feel at ease. The Oh No Roller comes in 5 different materials, including plastic, aluminum, steel, titanium, and silicone. You can use our code DSP10 to get 10% off your order when you visit onoroller.com and get your roll on. All right, we back again.
We're back and we're live. And not as live as all the victims in my backyard.
Yeah, it's got a lot of holes.
Yeah.
That have been dug up.
Not all.
Yeah.
They all
Glad you have a video confession of you. Finally.
It's good gumbo. That's why we like the BIPOC folk. They make good gumbo.
Next Netflix series, Food and Torture. The Nas.
Food and
Nas
torture.
series.
A delicatessen.
You're such an idiot. You're such an idiot.
I know.
God.
Therapy.
You're a doctor.
Therapy.
You're a fucking doctor.
Institutism. I plead the fifth.
I appeal, Your Honor. What? Doesn't even make sense.
If I wear a helmet, I can't be sued.
You're down, all right. You're down. Oh my fucking God. Let's be up for a second. All right. Anyways. So we're doing The Sopranos. We have a lot of scenes that we are doing. But if you haven't seen the show, fantastic show. So why haven't you watched it? And people always want to say, like, oh, the mob stuff. Oh, it's overrated. Let me tell you something. This is probably one of the greatest shows of all time. Not even lying. That's not even hype. Everyone says it's the best show of all time.
Yeah.
Ending, kind of murky. But hey, you know what? The rest of it, best show of all time.
This is way better than Breaking Bad. Way better.
True. And let's be honest, talks a lot more about other things other than just, drugs and shit. And just, yes, you do see those subtle things in Breaking Bad, but really in here you get like you said, the meat and potatoes, right?
Yeah, And for you vegans, lettuce.
Lettuce and potatoes.
Motherfuckers just be eating lettuce.
Still vegetables.
I don't know. The motherfucker's confusing, bro. I don't get
It's
it.
just like it's meat
The
potatoes. I
motherfucker's
don't know.
depressed.
Potatoes made out of meat. I don't know how that works.
Yeah. I'm in therapy. Are you vegan? Because motherfucker just eat some meat.
That should be a question you ask on any client you have. You a vegan? Get the fuck out. Get the fuck
Get out of here.
out of here.
Get out of here.
Anyways, the show follows Tony Soprano, where he has two families, right? His mob family and his real family. And so follows him, and when we first see him, he's suffering from panic attacks. He's passing out. Um, and because he's getting a lot more pressure in his life, he's starting to become like the boss of the family. Um, we can see back where he has issues with both of his parents, not just his mom, who's fucking crazy, but also his dad, and how he never really felt love from his dad, right? His dad always gave the attention to his sister, Janice. And you can kind of see that in the last scene that we had here, and how with his uncle, he's mainly been trying to seek that love from him. And when his uncle kind of talks ill of him, it hurts just a little bit more because it's somebody who he cares about. But yeah. So, like I said, go check out The Sopranos. Really good stuff. So first scene, this has to do with his nephew. They talk about in the show, it's not really his nephew. It's like his wife's cousin or nephew or whatever. And he just automatically calls him his nephew because he's like family. But Christopher has been just fucking up lately. He's just hasn't gotten the attention, just hasn't gotten moved up in a way where he wants to be. He wants to be one of the wise guys like everybody else, wants to be a boss. But it's not happening. And so now he's kind of acting out. He tried to bury or re-dig up a body that he buried somewhere just to say like, oh yeah, I had to, because you never know, somebody could find the body. And so that becomes a whole thing because, like, why are you doing this? Are you trying to get caught? Trying to? Um, and then they have Christopher and Tony have a really good talk um, about mental health. Even though it may not seem like it was a productive talk, it was, right? He's talking about depression because he's going through therapy, and a little bit of backstory. Once he's doing therapy, like, he doesn't want anybody to know he's doing therapy.
Yep.
Because they could use that against him. They could say like, oh, he's talking to somebody about like all these business decisions. Oh, we have to get him killed now. Right. And so he doesn't tell anybody. And so he just kind of plays it off as, oh, yeah, I saw a television program and they were talking about all this type of stuff. And that's where I learned it. But he's actually been using his therapy on his everyday life and trying to help, his family out with that. So when you first saw the scene, Nas, what were you thinking?
You're watching these men, masculine men. And the way that men handle these conversations, less words, kind of intuitive. There's a lot of not making eye contact, but just kind of looking at body posture, like scanning to make sure that the other one's, you okay with this? You about to act funny? No, you about to act funny? You being a little punk? It's a weird little, what do they call it? Play chicken. You're both playing chicken to see who's going to break first.
Right.
And you see Tony, because he's going through something, right? And he's learning, figuring out some stuff, asking about, well, maybe it's just serotonin stuff, acting stupid, right? He's acting stupid.
Yeah.
But he's making very clear points. So maybe you're low on some neurochemicals. Maybe you need some Prozac. Maybe we need diet, exercise. But he's asking very pointed questions when it comes to suicidality and intrusive thoughts. So, maybe you're thinking about this cancer stuff because you want to die. Maybe you're putting yourself in risky positions and digging up things because you want to get caught. So he's seeing him do more volatile things. And what we know about a lot of men is that we have the highest rates of actually completion of suicide, right? Actually dying from it. because they're more violent ways. But we also know a lot of men of color that is suicide by homicide. So we'll put ourselves in dangerous positions to be killed, which is the same thing as, taking your own life. You're putting yourself in danger. That's what Tony's referencing here. Like, what are you doing? You're trying to end it, huh? Well, this is erratic behavior. This is not logical behavior. So he's got that in his mind. He's got his own demons that he's facing, right? He probably has his intrusive thoughts. He's got, depression, panic attacks, too much, the pressure, wants to check out, passive suicidality, maybe not active, but he's thinking, hey man, statistics are done on this. If you ask someone if they're suicidal, it actually dramatically decreases the chances of them committing suicide or going through with it, because now they're able to let it out. And everyone thinks, well, man, I don't want to ask him that. Or like even therapists, well, I don't want to say it. Hey, you going to kill yourself today? Yeah, in therapy, I ask all the time, hey, man, just checking in real quick. You going to kill yourself? You have any thoughts? They're like, no, I haven't thought about that in like 2 years. I'm going to make sure. Because sometimes things will come up and you're like, this could lead to you wanting to check out. For a lot of autistic folks, neurodivergent folks, the overwhelming feelings is not that they always want to die because they want to end their life. They'll say that they want to die because they don't want to be in that moment and exist in that moment. So it's like real death versus just dissociating and not wanting to exist. To me, there's a little bit of a difference. I want to exist momentarily versus like, I'm about to do this and end my own life.
Right.
And I think a lot of counselors and a lot of medical practitioners, they don't know the difference. And thus they will hospitalize my kiddos immediately or other clients immediately when all you got to do is talk it out. Talk it out, make sure, see where it's at. It's your clinical judgment that they'll be safe. You put in the skills, the safety plan, the regimen, who they're going to call, right? You break it all down. That way when they leave, they got like a legit plan afterwards to protect themselves. So going back to the scene, the subtlety of these two dudes, Spence, is like spot on.
Yeah.
I mean, me and you've done it with each other. I've done it with Colin. I've done it with hundreds of dudes.
Hope you wore protection.
I didn't. And this is how we go about it, dude. It's this very subtle checking to see if the other guy, you good? You gonna go to therapy? It's funny how the other dude says, I ain't no, what do you call it? Mental midget?
Mental midget.
Jesus.
I've never heard that one before, but hey.
And did you see the way Tony looked at him though? The shame and disgust, not being mad at him. He's like, damn, this is what he thinks of me.
Yeah. And you kind of also see that, in just like everyday life when it comes to like, say people are, closeted and stuff like that. And then they hear like a homophobic joke or something like that. And then they're like, oh, okay, this is what they think. So I'm just even shut myself off even more.
Yep.
Now, why would I even talk about it? Like I thought maybe, and like you said, he's testing the water also to maybe say like, hey, I've been going to therapy. Why don't you go to therapy also?
Yep.
So
that's what he's doing. He's testing the water, then he shits all over it. But little by little, they start to have a real talk, and you can see the emotionality, the connection. That right there with men is enough.
Yeah.
That right there could save a life right there. We may not have to talk about all the emotions, all that stuff, but just to let a little bit of gas out, to acknowledge that, hey, man, it's okay if you're suffering. It's okay, man. There could be reasons for this. Is enough. I get masculinity is really toxic at times. I get it. And then sometimes this is all we can do.
Yeah.
These are really masculine dudes that are out here, mobsters. These are murderers, right? These are, top of the food chain type dudes. So these type of conversations not going to happen. Reminds me of a client right now. They were dating someone, and it was a woman, and they're dating a dude. And I said, "Hey man, you need to tell them that we're in therapy, this and that, right? I know they gotta wonder where you go every week, right?" And they're like, "Oh no, I just say I'm going out or running errands, this and that, right?" And eventually that relationship fizzled out because they can never be fully true with them and who they are or what they're going through. And then they end up meeting this other dude. And immediately talking about everything. It's just an open book and it's magnificent. I'm like, you son of a bitch. I was trying to get you to do this with the other guy. So what was the difference between the two? So that's kind of nuanced and that could take a long time to talk about, but no. One of them feels home and safe, comfortable. The other one felt like she always had to put on a show and mask and be perfect. And so it led to a lot of weird discussions over there where they couldn't be open because then they'd be seen as less than. Because mental health, this mental midget thing, you're less than. With dudes, not only you're less than, you're also crazy. You're soft. You're a bitch. You're broken. You could be collateral damage, right? You could be in the weight burden. So that's why people don't want to say shit. That's why my clients don't tell their parents. That's why dudes don't tell other dudes.
Yeah.
This is super sad. My condolences to a lot of the families at these universities that have been going through with their kids committing suicide. Ohio State the other day, someone looks like it was a parent of one of the kiddos graduating and actually killed themselves. So my condolences to family members, to the students of these Ohio State and other universities. But all the time you'll hear this, Spencer, with the men, is that he was the happiest guy. You never would have known. And then they end their life, and then you see the suicide note at home. And it's interesting how all my students, because I'll see the friends of these clients because they're traumatized. And no one ever knew. No one ever knew. I was talking to one boy, and he said, you know what? About 2 years ago, he said, the breakfast that we get as friends is the best moment of his entire week and only lasts an hour. And he made a subtle comment like, it's the only reason why I'm alive. And everyone laughed like, yeah, we love each other, right? And then 2 years later, hey, maybe this is true. So no one thought that he was, messed up though. It's sad. Men like that in that clip. It was a good clip, powerful clip, and it's for real about suicidality. So I'm glad he brought it up. I wanted to just use some stories to talk about it.
Yeah, definitely. Moving on to the next one. This is where he's trying to find a new therapist because he had, like, throughout the whole series, he's been like going on and off about therapy. He's like, this is great. Fuck you. This is great. Fuck you. He goes back and forth about it. And then especially he gets like anytime she brings up a certain subject, he gets like uber aggressive. And, and then she's like, just get the fuck out. But during this scene, I wanted to bring it up because I think it's a good sense of like sometimes we are not going to have the best therapists. They're not meant for you. They'll tell you that, or you'll find it out on your own. Which I think is a great part of therapy. It's not always going to be perfect the first time. We've brought it up many times, but it's not going to be perfect the first time. You have to keep on going. You have to keep on moving through and seeing, if a personality works for you. Now, with Dr. Melfi, worked out very well because she wanted to take on her client, aka Tony Soprano, right? She wanted to not only try to help him and see if maybe she can turn him around, but also she felt that because she's also Italian, and so that's also kind of her rite of passage, maybe, of where she's trying to help her own people and maybe some point he'll do some good for others. So, yeah. But yeah, like I kind of said, therapy, sometimes it's going to be a rocky road. It's not always going to be smooth.
So is this that second to last thing that we're talking about right now?
No, so this is just the second scene that I brought up with the male therapist, and he was like,
"Oh,
Mr. Spears."
Yeah, so the male therapist. So that was an interesting scene. The thing what I'll say about that is, okay, so he knows who the client is. So that doesn't mean that you can't take on a client, but you can maybe reject a client because there's some stuff that you don't want to get into. Maybe you're full. I don't think I would ever do something like that, right? If you're working with someone.
Right.
I've never been in that situation to decline working with someone. The only reason why I've declined clients is because they've been referred to me by their partner, their husband or wife, their significant other. And I'm like, I can't see you two at the same time. One or the other. It's one or the other. So sometimes one of the partners will discontinue with me. That way the other one can see me. Because I don't want anything crossed. I don't want anyone thinking that I'm giving the other insider information. It can get weird. But he came off like a straight up asshole. Like, I'm surprised Tony didn't beat his ass, for real.
Yeah.
Asshole move. So not every therapist is for you. Some people are just scared. Let's be really real right here. Some therapists will be intimidated by big dudes, dudes of color, women of color. Some people will be intimidated by someone that's queer identified, right? Because I haven't worked with that population. Some of my coworkers, I don't want to work with this autistic kid, because I don't know enough. Well, motherfucker, you need to learn.
Yeah.
You can't just you're going to work with Nas because you one of them. Like, especially the people that forced me to work with some queer-based trans clients. They're like, no, you need to learn. Oh, okay. So now when it's time for you to learn, your caseload's too busy. But when it's time for me to transfer a client, they're like, no, you keep that kid. I was cool with it. I'm cool. I'm like, yeah, I'll learn and grow. But now no one else wants to learn and grow. I think it's interesting. So I do my best not to refer kids unless I know it's not in my niche. I don't refer them because I'm like, oh man, fuck this. The kid's piece of shit. This good Trump Cheeto looking motherfucker, Mary Poppins ass looking motherfucker,
Mary Poppins.
It was raining
Got an
today.
umbrella?
Everyone had umbrellas today at work. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I was driving away, screaming and cussing at everyone. It's pretty fun. I called one kid a drug addict outside the car.
It's good. That's real good. I'm glad. As you drive away.
As I drive away.
Who was that? That was a doctor. Ah.
That's my family. And so I've only referred folks out when I'm like, okay, I don't have enough time. It's too severe. You need more weekly therapy, maybe twice a week, more intensive inpatient.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've never been in that situation. I would never treat anyone like that, even if I thought they were disgusting. And trust me, I've dealt with some disgusting human identities when they were just very abusive, manipulative, and like hurting others. So that's not usually how it goes in therapy, maybe for other folks, but I guarantee you other folks push people out. Kind of like how we saw in the X-Men video that will come out before this. Oh, I'm not delivering your baby. I'm not working with that population. I don't know nothing about autism. Oh, okay, well, maybe we need to learn a little bit.
Do you kind of see it as like an analogy would be just like you're in the NBA and you're a really good athlete, right? Naturally born, great athlete. You can dunk the ball, grab rebounds, all that shit. But as you get older, you're not developing yourself any further. And so now your game has gone down a lot because you haven't worked on anything else. When it comes to therapists out there, could you just tell a little bit, just, hey, give some advice. Hey, learn these things. See patients that you haven't, that you don't know about.
Learn. So learn outside the office to make sure that you're being ethical and valuable inside the office with that client. I recently had a performance evaluation, and this is one of the things I got dinged on is that I stopped talking when it comes to certain things in the office. Like I talk a lot of shit and I'm funny, but I gave up talking about like autism related things and folks of color things because I'm like, I feel like it's falling on deaf ears. So I'm like, this is fucking stupid. And I get angry now when talking about autism with the adult staff, with the interns, right? Awesome. Magnificent conversations. They're learning. They're bringing cases to me. I'm not even the supervisor. They're bringing cases to me. And it's in our requirement through state licensure to continue doing education, Spencer. It is. Every couple of years, you got to do like 40 to 100 hours of education.
Right.
But most folks will do it in the same shit that they already know because it's like stupid. And they don't want to learn new things. It's the same shit. And they just take the quizzes.
Mm-hmm.
So people don't really push themselves. It's people like me and many others, but me is I need to know. I need to be able to outthink you in almost every way. I need to be able to analyze you. I need to know about all the different disorders. I need to be able to psychoanalyze you within seconds because you're paying for this. It's your life at stake. It's your GPA at stake. It's your children's life at stake. So I need to know everything that I can possibly. So when you go to other therapists and they have no idea about medications, I already know everything because my boss told me I had to. You will cost someone their life, their children, their occupation if you don't know. It's a burden, but this is the job that I took. So yes, Spence, I grow my craft, and even though as I age and things are getting a little, weird, the ADHD is kicking up more, right? I'm still very knowledgeable.
Yeah.
One of my old clients for the last couple of years just came back because they took a break because they were doing good and all that shit. And she's like, "Did you miss me?" And I was like, "I actually did. I miss you, little shit." And then midway through it, I said some random weird stuff, and she's like, God, why do I pay for this shit? I said, I don't know, girl. You love toxic men. I don't know. You love
them.
you love them toxic boys, boy. I said some weird shit. I don't remember what it was. She's just like, bleh. All right.
Yeah. All right. So let's move on to the second to last scene where Dr. Melfi and Tony are talking. And he's talking about how he's just done with therapy, right? He's done. He says even like, hey, you helped in the beginning, but now it just feels like we're just talking about the same shit over and over again. It doesn't feel like I'm getting, my money's worth or whatever. And, like I said, he's had outbursts, but he's always come back to therapy. He's come back to Dr. Melfi. Because something happens and then he's like, oh shit, I have to go to therapy. I have to talk this out. But this time he seems like he's really legit about leaving therapy and he's just done. Like there's no more talking to be done. And this happens after his mother died, after a lot of bad things have happened, but he just feels like this is it. This is the end of the road. I can't do it anymore. So have you had clients like this where they just kind of like, I'm done with therapy. I can't do it anymore. It feels like we're not going anywhere. We're in the same spot.
Not often, but it does happen. Some of my clients, they'll be like, what are we doing? Like, even with my other therapists, like, what are we doing? What are we working on? And I said, well, you've been in therapy this long and we haven't like gotten to the crux of it because you're not doing the work outside. I can't solve everything, Henry. You have to do it. You have to go talk to these people. You have to make better connections. You have to start working on these social related skills things that we talked about. It's you. We've been working this long. It's you. And so sometimes you'll get folks that are frustrated. Rarely will you get folks that are continuously not doing well, like bipolar, really bad depression, or like, man, this therapy shit ain't working. Because normally it does help reduce a lot of symptoms, and thus continuing therapy is a good thing. Tony in this moment thinks that he's done because his mother passed, and so he's good. He's over his demons. And then he admits that, she's like, well, hey man, you're the one that ADHD and all this weird shit. You sidetrack it. Right. And he's like, okay, I take the blame. And then he's like, man, I'm done with this. It looks like he's pushing her away. He's also like, I don't need this therapy stuff. He keeps saying, you helped me out a lot in the beginning. You helped me out a lot in the beginning. He keeps putting it back in the beginning. And then she says this magnificent speech on, as soon as you get your basic needs met, as soon as you don't feel like you're dying all the fucking time and suffocating from depression and anxiety, now we can begin to do some self-discovery. What led you to those circumstances? Making sure that we never get back to those circumstances and those contexts, those suicidal thoughts, anxiety, panic attacks, depression, anger, alcohol, drug abuse. We learn to treat others better too. When you know who you are, what you're feeling, and why you're feeling it, and then, well, now you can identify them quicker, and then you won't rage out or inflict harm on yourself, make poor choices. And so she's like, hey man, we need to continue doing the work, continue to trust the process. Shout out to Joel Embiid. Definitely depressed.
Look, I can't feel bad for the dude.
I don't feel bad for him, but I'm, definitely
He's an
depressed.
asshole. He's such an asshole.
He's an ass.
Yes. Literally almost like injured players. And then he's like, oh, I'm sad because I lost. I'm like, all right, good for you.
Also, the contracts on the team are terrible, but they'll be all right. They'll be good next year.
Different day.
Tobias Harris making $45 million. Blech.
Well, he's about to be on the Pistons, so good luck with that.
So I'm gonna go ahead and just eat one of these real quick.
Yep.
Chill pill. 100 milligrams, baby. 100 milligrams. So really good scene on how she's trying to give him psychoeducation on why to stay into therapy, and that he's pushing her away. She's like, hey man, you need to call me. He's like, no, I ain't calling you. Something happens and he's super resistant. He's like, nah, I'm good.
Yeah.
Another good thing about this scene is where she goes to professionalism, where all we do is we shake your hand. She's saying goodbye, right? This is a very intense moment, saying goodbye to clients. long time, right? He's been working with her for years.
Yeah.
She puts that out. He goes in, gives her a kiss. Highly inappropriate in that moment for this movie, this context. I mean, it is what it is, right? He'll probably kill you. Sometimes clients will just want to do my normal fist bump as a goodbye. Most of the time, it's the fist bump as goodbye. Sometimes it's a hug. And I can't ask for it, even if I want to give a kiddo a hug. And I say kiddo, most of them are going to be 23 at this time. But I will be like, do you want a side hug, kid? Do you want? Because you can tell. So recently, a couple of them been giving me side hugs. I'm cool with it. Saying goodbye is tough. Spencer, let me ask you something. Does he go back to therapy?
Yeah.
He does. There you go. They always come back, those little fuckers. Let's think about why, though. Because it's unconditional positive regard. They call it love. You can go there and unburden yourself and say all the most horrific shit. I want to murder my mother. I want to suck on toes. Right? And, hey, heavy petting.
No judgment here.
And you can talk about it without the shame and the guilt, right?
Right.
You can unleash any burden that you want, and they're held by law and ethics and values. And for me, just my overall morals to not preach it to anyone else, to not impact you, to not do harm. So most folks do come back. They really do. I get people that come back all the time. In saying that, when they come back, some of them have a shit ton of shame because they're like, I'm broken. I failed you, Naz. I'm still depressed. I'm like, shut the fuck up. Just sit down. Like I was happy when I saw your email. I'm happy you sitting in front of me. And just start talking and shut up.
Shame.
Everyone lives in shame, dude. Because they think I'm like this father figure.
Mm-hmm.
So if they're not fixed and good for me, if I put in 2 years, if I wasted 2 years of Nas therapy, could have been working with someone else. So some folks will be hesitant to come back because of that. They'll be like, nah, I'm getting a different therapist because they're like, they can start fresh. Most of my autistic clients will not do that because the bond is tight. Bond is real tight. I understand them better than any other neurotypical therapist can. And they don't have to re-explain all their shit and go through all that trauma again because I already know it, right? So they can just start right off from the leave-off point. So that's why it's really comfortable to go back to your old therapist because you don't have to re-explain like, well, let me tell you, in 1972, I had a donut.
You're in college. How old are you?
Yeah. Most of them born in 2000.
Yeah. 72.
72.
That's their grandparents.
That's an old motherfucker.
Great grandparents.
They're looking good, though. In 1970, you still looking good. Shout out to you, 1972, motherfucker. Fantastic scene here. Her intenseness, her professionalism of being a woman around this like terrifying dude, and because I'm going to leave this in there, her reaching out to her therapist because therapists have therapists too to consult with, to unburden, right, to talk about things. He's like, you won't believe what happened.
He gone.
And so she needs to process it. And what the hell just happened? And then the kiss as well on the cheek. You didn't kiss her on the lips, on the cheek. Mm-hmm. It's a lot to process. It's heavy. I remember that she meets with that private therapist a few times to go over all the shit.
Yeah. And she goes off too. She's like, you motherfucker.
Magnificent scene here. Yeah. Masculinity, the therapist-client dynamic, them not seeing results, them really loving you, but also wanting to be without you. It's just interesting time. Mm-hmm. Interesting time. I really enjoyed that scene. And she was preaching. Oh, I almost left this out. Oh, no, I said it.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, you can finally get to the real shit. And I always tell people that. You can get to the real. Oh, here it is. He's like, America's the only place. Was this it where he talks about his girlfriend? Yeah, this was it where he's talking about the girl. So that was really awesome because he came in talking bullshit. And then he's like, let me be real with you. Bitch left me.
I gave her a pen.
Yeah, she left me. She said, my dick's too small. Hey, man, I was talking to a client and she said, now, do you think he's on steroids? She shows me a picture of him. I said, he ain't on steroids. She said, good, his dick gonna be too small. I said, stop. That's not how it works, girl. It makes the balls smaller.
Yeah, it doesn't make the shaft small.
Not the shaft. And so we had a magnificent talk about the effects of testosterone on men.
Makes you hairy, acne everywhere,
rage,
and shrinks your balls.
And it can give you gynomastia. It can give you little boobies.
Oh yeah, some boobies.
It was a wonderful. She's like, "Well, we're good. Long as that's good, we're good." I was like, "Jesus Christ, girl."
She's gonna be swinging those titties right in front of her face.
Well, you gotta watch out. I had one client that made fun of their clients because he was taking steroids, and he got super mad and sensitive about it. So don't make fun of those. Don't make fun of those. He almost raged out on my client.
Jesus.
I get a lot of clients, man. But he was making some points on everywhere else, the suffering. But here's the only place where motherfuckers got everything. Everything. And we're so depressed. But in all the other places, is it that they're really happy? Or is it that they're just trying to survive? And then they can't actually self-actualize into like wanting things. And then you're looking for the meaning of your life. The meaning for many other places is just living, trying to get food. So there's just a lot of horrible diseases and mental health issues, right? Because of that chronic stress. We're here. We're blessed. We're very privileged. Everyone in America is privileged. I don't give a fuck who you are, what money you got. You're privileged being American. There's other places you'll be killed for most things. You'll be stoned for things, right? There's no systems. America still sucks in many ways. Lucky as shit to be born here. Or to immigrate here. Some folks are going to get mad at that. But, I mean, it's true. America sucks in many ways.
That they can even tell us that they're mad at that shows how privileged they are, really, with that.
Yeah, you can still critique things and be super grateful about the place that you were. I'm lucky I wasn't born in these other places. Right? You're a woman in these other places, you get no rights.
Yeah.
You're queer in these other places, you die. My students will literally die if they tell people that they're queer in other places.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of blessings here, besides the point. And he talks about how we're the motherfuckers that are so depressed. What the fuck is wrong with us? And that was a great statement because a lot of people will come to my office, Spence, and be like, I don't know why the fuck I'm depressed. My parents are good. My life is good. I get good grades, but I feel like shit. But then you start digging and digging and digging and digging. And you're like, oh, here it is. You didn't get no love, did you? Oh, yeah. Then they start crying. Just like that, Spence. They're like, my mother didn't love me. That's because the motherfuckers was working all day and then you were just sitting at home.
Yeah.
Privileged folks go through things too. Great scene. A lot of topics in that scene. Thanks for bringing that, Spence. Spence doing his thing. I got him thinking with autism.
Tony Soprano, autistic.
I'm not. One reason why I love this show, I actually thought he was fatter in this show. He's actually pretty slim.
Even though everybody calls him fat, like in the show, because he's just a big dude.
No, he's just a big dude. He's barely got a tummy.
Everybody else is like thin as fuck. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. He's a gorgeous man.
Sure is. Rest in peace, James Gandolfini.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that. Yep.
Yeah. He passed away a few years ago. So.
I'll put a thing in the beginning of this. I forgot.
Yeah. So, yeah. Shout out to James Gandolfini and his kid who was in
Saints.
What was it? It was like the something
Newark?
of Newark. What's it called?
The Babylons of Newark.
The Babylons of the Babylons. Anyways, it was. I liked the movie. A lot of people didn't really like it. The Many Saints of Newark. That's what it was. But whatever. Anyways, next scene. The last scene that we had was with Tony and his uncle Junior, right? And so throughout the episode, Junior was acting like he had these symptoms of dementia. Turns out it was like these like mini strokes that were going on in his brain, and now he can take this medicine to help with that. And he was just running all over the place. He was also bringing up Tony's like high school career for football and how he was like, yeah, he fucking sucked or whatever. And that was really, really getting to Tony. Like, it was really getting to him. And he got pissed off, even though he was just talking about his high school football days, right? But then we get to this end scene where he's feeling a little bit better. Um, and he just looks over at him and he's just like, why do you want to hurt me? Like, why can't you say nice things? Like, why you gotta be mean? And you can really tell how throughout like the whole series, it's just Tony is just like this big kid, essentially, who's just, he gets upset very easily. He also is just like he has mood swings all over the place. And we really see in this scene where he feels so down because this father figure was just talking down to him, talking bad. And he was like, don't you love me? Don't you love me? Bless you. Um, and then Uncle Junior just starts crying, tearing up. And that was a great, powerful scene, especially when you have just an adult figure and a son-like figure. And they're just, you know, it's that really innocent moment of where you're talking with somebody who you really respect. And it's like, why would you do that? Why would you hurt me like that? That was a good scene. So
Why are you always so negative?
yeah.
Why
are you so
you
mean?
Why you always gotta be so mean? Why there's always nothing but toxic come out your mouth? There's nothing but venom. And then you see him looking at his uncles like, I loved you, man. You're the person that I had, the only person that I had, and you choose to shit on me. This is what you talk about, not about all these other good things. So people know this. Those of you listening, sometimes you just wish that they would give you affirmations, validations. Just be kind. Be like, man, say something good. Your boss, your supervisor, instead of just giving you critiques all the time, say something's good. Your teacher's giving you corrections on your paper. It's all red. Ain't nothing good. Motherfucker, your handwriting good? Something. Shit. It makes you feel worthless. Worthless. And so he looks at him. Why can't you love me, man? Why don't you love me in the way I want to? And Spencer, look at Spencer. He's figuring this shit out. He's just a kid. He's just a kid wanting love, right? A little big old chubby kid. Wanting a hug, wanting someone to just sit there, wanting someone to be proud of them. As I told a student yesterday, he said, "You did this. You did this. You did this. You're good. You got a good shot. I'm excited for you. I'm proud to have met you. I'm proud of all the work that you did. Proud of you tenaciousness because you come every week ready to work." But Tony doesn't get that. And so that builds in this perfectionism, that builds in this anxiety, that builds in this masculinity, that builds in this dominance, that builds in I have to be the best. And now it's nothing but pressure. Now it's nothing but weight and terror, which can kill a lot of people, doesn't matter what gender. So you see him, Spencer, as just being a boy that needs some love, someone to be there like his therapist, just be there. Mm-hmm. But to see the real him, not the image that he projects out, the real him, the one that's flawed. We talked about it also in X-Men, where that queen or whatever from some galaxy, they don't want to see the weakness. They don't want to see Xavier crippled as shit.
Yeah.
Wheelchair riding motherfucker.
Oh, grease up your wheels, motherfucker. They're squeaky.
Oh, crip walk ass motherfucker. Oh, stink leg dragon ass motherfucker.
They not like us. They not like us.
They not like us. They different. Be a man. Walk. Sorry.
Be a man. Get up from that chair.
And so that's intense. Real quick, I feel like a lot of people will probably diagnose him and other folks that are of color that come from these situations, borderline personality disorder, because a lot of rage, a lot of big emotions. We've talked about it many times in this pod on how they'll get slapped with that. And what it is, just a lot of shit that comes out from trauma. You never taught on how to regulate any emotions because you're taught to hide and run away from emotions and use substances, drink alcohol. Shout out to this $60 bourbon I've been sipping on.
Jesus. All right, Shannon.
I know. I should have never shown me that.
All you do now is just drink like a Shannon shot. I'd be like,
Shit.
sponsored by.
Sponsored by. I don't even know the shit I got. It's good though.
It makes me swervy.
It makes me swervy. I'm driving now. um, and it makes you feel bad for him in that moment. And you see his uncle get choked up. Doesn't fully cry, but he gets choked up. That's man being man. They hold it. You'll see it in these press conferences with the most masculine men in the world, right? These athletes, these NFL athletes, these boxers. And they'll be like, wait, I just need a moment. What? Let me get my shit together. You'll see it with Dan Campbell, the Lions football coach. Shout out to the Lions. And you'll see him cry all the time, man. Like, he'll be like, I just fucking love those guys in that locker room. And then he'll get choked up. I mean, this dude is huge. He's like 6'7", 6'8", 300-something pounds, solid muscle. He's intense. But you see the emotion and you love it. You see University of Michigan's assistant coach cry and you love it. A lot of men shit on him. We did a podcast about it on Stephen A's was like, oh, I don't want to see that shit. You're being soft. That team will die for that coach now.
Yeah.
It's amazing when men actually do show emotions that does get validated. Small pivot. I posted something the other day and reposted it on LinkedIn from different spectrums to my personal LinkedIn, professional one. And one of the players from Alabama University, massive offensive lineman, really good, but he just went into inpatient treatment to work on his mental health, right? Because they didn't say what's going on, but I assume there's some suicidality, some stuff's going on. And they were saying that he was going to be graded harshly in the NFL and like not be drafted because of this. Oh, I'm like, that's bullshit. That's why no one wants to say anything. That's why no athletes want to go to therapy or tell their coaches, because now it's going to be held. Now they're not going to be able to play.
Yeah. And so we're all about like having a message, like they put Black Lives Matter on the field, stuff like that. They put all this shit on the field. That's fine. That's great. I'm glad you're doing the outside stuff. But are you really putting in the work behind the scenes at all? You can put as much shit as you want on the field. I don't care.
Yep.
But if you're not helping your players to get better and changing exactly what it is,
what are you doing?
Yeah, what's the point?
You're going to hold it against your players in college or the pros. What do you? So you want people to talk, but then also will shame them when they do talk. So this is why a lot of people just don't. This is because sports are very masculine. Doesn't matter what gender.
Yeah.
And this is why people will come to my office because, I ain't budging on shit. And they feel safe and protected. And they also know I'm going to fight for them. I'm going to teach them how to fight for themselves, too, when it comes to the dynamics on the team. But it's scary, man, that these players go through this. And then, people are talking shit. Like, what do you got to be sad about? You don't know the shit that these players are dealing with. You don't know the trauma from their childhoods or their OCD.
Beat up on a daily basis. Like, just from the field. That's just from a field standpoint, right? But yeah, like you said, it's like outside of the field.
You don't know.
There could be anything going on. You don't know.
You don't know. Oh, this reminds me. In our link tree, I don't know why I haven't done this before. In our link tree, I will post all the professional athletes that I've been keeping and collecting data on that have been diagnosed or have sought mental health treatment and that have been out with it. And so I'm going to post that. It's probably like 50 pages at this moment in time. It's intense. Yeah, it's really intense. And so I'm going to put that on there. I don't know why I haven't done that because it's a really cool article for you to look at and look at all the athletes in your favorite sports. I got cycling, tennis, NASCAR, of course, the NFL, MLB, volleyball. I've got it all.
We'll talk about it. You could probably do like a carousel image and then just.
There you go. So yeah, we'll probably do that. Great scene on men trying to heal and a man that's been deeply wounded his entire life, Tony, which led him to be this beast that he's become. There was that scene with Rocket and Yondu years ago. I know what's wrong with you, boy. You're me. I know why you push everybody away and why just a little bit of love just lets you know how empty inside you are. I literally have chills just saying it. Just a little bit of love. My clients get that from me and it just destroys them in a good way. And then we go find it outside and we figure out how to go take our love and our happiness and our joy, the things that were stripped from us in childhood or from our bosses, from our professors because of our ADHD or autism, because they were different, because people couldn't love them for who they are. Then they come to my office for a friend, but also some love. And also I'm going to make sure they're the baddest motherfucker that there is in their life. That's what your therapist is supposed to do. That's what they're supposed to do. It's what they're paid to do. And of course, every once in a while I talk a little shit, I get distracted. So Real quick,
Mm.
we don't have to get into them. What were real quick? What were the other scenes that we left out? Because I'm gonna let them all play.
Right. So, the third scene that we watched was the therapy scene where he's talking about how his mom is dead and how he's glad she's dead
Yep,
and
that's right.
now he doesn't have to go to therapy anymore because she's dead because that he thought like that was all of his problem was through his mom. There's that scene. And then there was the one with Richie and I forgot her name, but Richie and the woman, and he was
That
just
was a good
saying like, I
scene.
can't do this anymore. He's being really selfish. He's being like, I can't do this. I can't help you. So see you later. That motherfucker is such a piece of shit.
Piece of shit.
Yeah. I was like, I'm glad Tony just offed him. I was
Yep.
so glad.
Yep.
Yeah.
No, he was a straight up piece of shit. That was a good scene because the relationship stuff and how like Brett, some men, even women will do those things, right? And I'm glad she stood her ground. Was like, fuck you. But the thing is, you're gonna leave someone that's lost everything. And she said, how do you comfort me? He's like, I don't know how to comfort you. She said, just be there, you son of a bitch. It's not hard to comfort and love someone. That was the best part of that scene. It's not
Yeah.
hard. Just be here with me. Sit with me. Lay in the bed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Piece of shit.
Yeah. Fucking Ralph. It's Ralph, not Richie, but yeah,
Wow.
Ralph was such a
Piece of shit. Yeah.
Yeah. And then the next one was when Janice went to like her healer or
Yes.
whatever. They're not
That's a good scene.
therapists. They are like pretty much the coach. What they are, coaching. Yes. A healer. And yeah, she was just talking about how um she was with Bobby, who's like a really nice guy, but his wife like just died from like a car accident. And she's talking about how she wants to be there for him. And even though he does work for her brother, he's different than everyone else. So it's a nice scene where, where someone can actually come out and talk about certain things. I thought just be emotional. Thought that was good.
Good scene because that lady, the healer, recognized that you really love this guy because of the person that he is, the man that he is, the way he made you feel. It was safe. It was all the love that you've been missing for years. Missing for years. And that's why you're longing for him. Because of that emptiness that's been there, right? There's always been something missing, and this person provided it. I really liked it that, and that's when she starts sobbing because she's like, holy shit, you're right. I mean, this is, you don't really know. Sometimes you know when it's that thing you've been missing. You're like, I haven't tasted this in years.
Oh, God.
I got all the sugars. Like on any given Sunday, don't you drop me. I'm worth $1 million. There's moments when you know this is the person, especially that they're kind. I think I said it on the pod the other day, or maybe I just told you, but I saw one of my good friends, his babies, at this baby shower the other day, and I literally cried almost twice because he was sweet as fucking pie, big old Google eyes with the glasses and shit. And it just sometimes you see humans that are just so magnificent, they make you want to be better. Wow. And so that's what she found. Yeah, that's what she found. Was there another scene or that was it?
Nope, that was it.
That was it. All good
There's
scenes.
plenty of scenes that I did not grab.
Plenty of scenes.
Yes. But hey, if you've seen Sopranos and you thought, hey, you guys should have done this scene, tell us. What scene was it?
Let us know. You know, I love grabbing a good scene. Pump. You know.
There was a great scene that I left out, but it was when Tony confronted his mom about this is a different one. So he confronted him or her for talking shit to his sister because she always brought up like her weight and stuff like that, and that she would never find like a good man, and that any man she brought over, she just shitted on. Mom was a complete piece of shit.
Piece of shit.
Yeah. Yeah, he finally had a confrontation with her, and then he fell down the stairs, and like it was just like a kid. Like he fell down the stairs as he was walking out, and then like one of his like a gun popped out, on the ground, and then you just see the mom just standing there, and then just started like chuckling like right at him. I was just like, what an asshole. God. And then she wondered why she's alone.
Thank you for mentioning her. Yeah, you know, some people will see this and they'll know exactly what I'm talking about because I'm gonna be very blunt right here. My father talks about this woman being just like his own mother. Now she emasculates and treats the family poorly, and her father or the husband poorly. You know, there are certain people out there that are extremely toxic, and they make everyone feel worthless. They make the children feel like a burden, right? They do nothing but shame them, disgrace them, hurt them emotionally, mentally, some physically. And it's interesting on how they can fuck you up as a kid, how they can fuck you up. And a lot of the kids grow up to be angry at that person because now they've destroyed the one that was giving them love, the father, the mother, whoever it was, right? The opposite. And so this is why I'm going to send out one of the reels where Tony gets ready to terminate her. Little
Yeah, look in
smothering,
his eyes.
little pillow. You know, when you fluff up that pillow and you're like, I'm coming for you, mom.
Yeah, all the time. All the time.
Well, Spence, maybe not. You know, he loves his mom. So, yeah. I've crept past the door a few times. My dad's like, you going to smother me one day, kid?
Just like, my son, yes. Just
Spencer's going to be like, when did y'all get roses in the backyard?
what happened to that one pillow you really liked? It was very heavy.
Very heavy. Why is there new trees outside? Well, they're growing because of the fertilizer.
All right.
Rest in peace, Dad.
Anyways, anything else?
Great scenes, dude. Great scenes. Magnificent for men, therapy, trauma, healing. The interpersonal skills between you and a therapist, very important. I always bring it back to the relationship and the dynamic between the two because now we can replicate that outside. Figure out boundaries, love, emotions, thoughts, introspection, all of it. Tony Soprano, magnificent character, magnificent acting. And as Spencer said, you know, this main actor passed away. So shout out to his family and everyone and his acting, his career, but also condolences to the family. So okay.
All right, that's it. So thank you everybody for watching. Like I said, go watch The Sopranos. Really good series. Don't just think of it as just like a mob show or whatever, mafia, whatever.
A lot of good stuff.
There's layers to it.
A lot of layers.
There's layers. Yeah. Also fantastic cinematography.
Yep.
Every little detail they catch, it's amazing. Probably one of the favorite shows of all time. So go watch it.
And then also won a lot of awards. The wife won supporting actress, best supporting actress for years.
Oh yeah, she's good. Yeah, she's amazing.
Amazing. We're gonna do Nurse Jackie after this because that was one of my favorite fucking shows after this show. I don't know if you know what Nurse Jackie is, but
I've heard of it, never watched.
Straight up fucking addict, stealing all the pills in the hospital. Nurse Jackie, fucking intense. Yeah, fucking intense.
All right, fair enough. All right, so with that, I'm Spencer. That's Nas. Different Spectrum Pocket.
All right, everyone. Much love and take care of yourselves.
That fucking liquor is hitting you, isn't it? Or don't.
Then that's completely up to you. Pump. Bye, everyone.